Alright, so you guys remember the other day when I was ranking all of the Wonder Womans in the game, I said that I wasn't really a big fan of any of the Wonder Womans, even the one coming in at the number 1 spot. But today was the exact opposite, dude. I like all of the lanterns in this game. They are either really fun to use or they have a purpose, and I really like that in my characters. So even the character at the number 4 spot, I would rather have that character over some of the golds, some of the silvers, and definitely some of the legendaries. Anyways, with all that being said, I just wanted to say thank you guys again. I know I say this every single video, and I feel like I bring up this example every single time, but literally, it hasn't even been a week. Just the other day, we hit 3,000 subscribers, and we're already almost at 3,200 subscribers. So, I'm putting a lot of effort in these videos, and the fact that you guys are really enjoying them, it makes me happy, and I'm really, really glad about that. So thank you guys once again, and let's start the video. Oh, and have a wonderful day. Today we're going to be ranking every Lantern character in Injustice 2 Mobile. As always, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get started. Starting off our list is going to be Silver Green Lantern. Silver Green Lantern is a really fun character because of his passive, and in addition, this silver character does have a secret multiplier on his special 3, which means that he will be doing a good amount of damage. So Silver Green Lantern's passive will give you a shield, and this shield is going to absorb 25% of your max health. And the really cool thing about this is that you will be completely invulnerable to any attacks that the opponent is going to do to you. So in other words, if the opponent is going to try to hit you, imagine it like Darkseid's barrier. You're not just going to be ignoring the damage, you're also going to be ignoring the attack itself. So it's not even going to touch you, it's going to literally go right by you. Which means that if the opponent uses a special ability and your barrier is still active, you're going to ignore the entire attack completely. This also goes for combo strings. If the opponent starts doing a combo string to you, it's not even going to touch you, which means that you can interrupt them in the middle of their combo string. However, keep in mind, this is not as strong as Darkseid's barrier. It's only going to take 25% of your max health, so you still want to be careful. If we go look at his special abilities, his special 1 does dot damage, but it is a hazard, which means that you're going to have to push the opponent into a certain area for you to be doing your dot damage. And oddly enough, if we go look at his special 2, there's nothing going on, but I just want to point this out. For some weird reason, his special 2 costs less than his special 1. So whenever you're fighting in battle, you're going to see that your middle special, if you're playing with the controllers with the special abilities on the right side, the middle special ability, which is his special 2, is going to charge up first, and then his special 1. I just find that really weird, but whatever, it is what it is. And finally, if we go look at his special 3, it doesn't have any sort of effects, but like I said earlier, it does have a secret multiplier, so it's going to be doing a good amount of damage. And also, speaking for myself, I really like how this special ability looks because it's a minigun, and miniguns are really, really badass. Anyways, as you can see, Silver Green Lantern is not a bad character. He's definitely fun, and he does do a decent amount of damage. But the main reason why this guy came in at number 4 is simply because he is a silver character, and unfortunately for silver characters, you cannot get their gears off of ray drops. And the fact of the matter is that building characters in this game takes a very long time, especially if you want to get them up to level 70 gears. And so with silver characters, building them up manually is going to take forever, man. And also, again, even though Silver Green Lantern is a really fun character, the fact of the matter is that every other Lantern in this game is a support character, and they're actually pretty good support characters, and you can get their gears off of ray drops, so ultimately Silver Green Lantern did have to come in at number 4. Anyways, moving on to number 3 is going to be Atrocitus. No matter how good you are at the game and how big your roster is, Atrocitus is a really fun support character to use. However, this character shines the most if you're a brand new player or a moderate player. But once you start getting more characters, especially support characters, there's definitely better options out there. So if we go look at his passives, every single time that you tag in this character or one of his teammates, they have a chance of triggering either a 12-second reflective shield, 9 seconds of lethal attack chance boost, or you will steal 3 power bars from the opponent. Now, if you're a new player or a moderate player, these are all going to be really great. Obviously, you're going to live a little bit longer with the reflective shield. Having a little bit more damage with that lethal boost is really nice. And of course, no matter what level you're at, stealing 3 power bars is really, really nice. So the main reason why this character starts to drop off once you start getting more support characters is because of the reflective shield and the lethal boost. Okay, so first of all, we all know that lethal attack isn't really that great, especially when you compare it to critical attack chance and critical attack damage. So once your roster starts getting a little bit bigger, chances are this isn't really going to do much for you because you're already going to be doing a lot of damage with your crit attacks. And also, building tanks isn't really that hard, so eventually, as nice as Atrocitus' reflective shield is, it's not really necessary. With all that being said, even though it sounds like I'm kinda shitting on Atrocitus, even I like to use Atrocitus every once in a while just to make a really fun team, because again, Atrocitus is a really fun character to use. Now moving on to his special abilities, his special one is kind of unique. Okay, so this only costs 1 power bar, but it's also going to be taking away 5% of your health, and also it does hazard dot damage. And if we go look at his special 2, it's also going to be doing hazard dot damage, but this one is really interesting because the hazard is actually going to be moving towards the opponent. And finally, if we go look at his special 3, it does not have any buffs or effects. Another really great thing about Atrocitus is that getting his shards and gears is going to be really easy. You can get his shards and gear off of the League store, but they also drop pretty frequently off of raid drops. Anyways, with all that being said, now let's move on to number 2, which is going to be Emerald Green Lantern. Emerald Green Lantern's passive is really similar to Atrocitus, in the sense that whenever you tag this character in, or one of his teammates, you will be getting one of 3 buffs. You're either going to get 2 power bars gained, 3-second stun duration for the opponent, or you're going to get 100% critical attack damage. So the main reason why I put Emerald Green Lantern over Atrocitus is because this guy is also going to get power. It's not going to be as much as Atrocitus because Atrocitus gets 3 power bars and you steal it from the opponent, whereas Emerald Green Lantern is only going to get 2 power bars gained. But Emerald Green Lantern is also going to give you 100% critical attack damage, and I think everybody can agree that that's way better than lethal attack damage. And also, if you make Emerald Green Lantern or any other character in your team a tank, then having no reflective shield isn't really that big of a deal. Moving on to his special abilities, his special 1 does hazard dot damage, and his special 2 basically puts a shield on himself for a certain amount of time that's going to decrease the amount of damage that you're going to be taking. And finally, for his special 3, there's no buffs or special effects. However, I have seen before that Emerald Green Lantern can be a decent damage dealer by using his special 3, but I prefer to use this character as a support character. If you want to get shards for Emerald Green Lantern, they are in the campaign, which is going to be really easy. And I also believe that most of his gear set is also in the campaign, but fortunately you can also get his gears and shards off of raid drops. Emerald Green Lantern, like Atrocitus, is a really fun character to use, and Emerald Green Lantern looks really cool when you get him up to level 60 gears. He's a lantern character, so obviously he's just going to naturally glow, so it just works perfectly. Now moving on to number 1 is going to be John Stewart Green Lantern. I've got a lot of different opinions about John Stewart Green Lantern, but first let's look at his passives. This guy gives 100% team's hazard and hazard dot damage, and he also takes away 50% of the hazard and hazard dot damage that's incoming to your team, and he also makes it so that the team is immune to hazard secondary effects, and finally, for his Green Lantern teammates, he will give them 20% extra attack. Because of his passive, John Stewart Green Lantern is a really good character to be using in scenarios like P3. And now that we have solo raids, there are more bosses that have those really annoying hazards. Moving on to his special abilities, his special 1 does hazard dot damage, and his special 2 has armor pierce, but his special 3 does not have any effects. Alright, so with all that being said, the reason why I have so many different opinions on John Stewart Green Lantern is because some people like to build this character as a tank, because he's obviously going to be supporting his team with his passive, but some people also like to build this character as a damage dealer. And normally, I don't really like it when characters are built like this because I want them to serve a purpose. But with this character, there's just something about him. Maybe it might be the way that he moves because he moves really fluidly. Maybe it might be his special abilities because they look really cool and they do a decent amount of damage. But I actually enjoy this character because he's really fun to use, not just in actually using him, but also in how you want to build him. And he's not really like Silver Green Lantern, because this guy in certain scenarios, like I said earlier, is definitely going to be really useful. It's just that this character is so much fun that if you really wanted to, if you get duplicate gears off of raid drops, because you do get his gears off of raid drops, you can keep them and maybe make a gear set where this guy is a damage dealer and make a gear set where this guy is a tank. and they're both going to be just as fun. And also, let's be honest with ourselves, all of the lanterns are just moderate characters. And if there's any character that serves the most purpose, it's going to be John Stewart Green Lantern. It just so happens that this character is also a character that you can have a lot of fun with, and in a game like Injustice 2 Mobile, which can kind of sometimes get a little bit boring, it's really nice to have characters like John Stewart Green Lantern. Also, if you want to get his gears and shards, you can get them off of the League store, or you can get them off of raid drops. Anyways guys, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a nice day, stay safe and stay clean, and I'll see you guys later. And also, to make me feel better, drop a like, because right after I post this video, I have to go to the dentist, and I really hate going to the dentist.